La 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 la.
Current up in eyes now. Current mute. Hello, everyone.
We're
Hello, everyone.
supposed to say these things. When crime
Sure,
get out of
I'm going
control,
to mute now.
you call for Anjo to do something. Now the man a
I'm
do
going to
something.
mute. I'm
What
going
you
to
know
mute.
about for?
Make a win.
Eh?
Sound.
What
Too
you
much
know about
sound.
for? The man a clean up the country. Jamaica need to clean up. When we're done with this, we're not supposed to see the gunman round here. We're supposed to say these 10 cities, sir. So we no make the man them do them work. Too much crime. I take over. Yeah, some people are going like say, I them are the lie, you know. See the liar. This need to clean up. And if the law can't carry out the work in peace without interruption, do your work with respect, pride, and dignity. Let no man stop you from execute righteousness upon earth. Who know the law? No other law, no the code, who know. And if you back down, thief and murderer are going to become the law.
It gives me great pride to share with you some of the recent successes that the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the Jamaica Defence Force, and our law enforcement partners have achieved in the ongoing fight against violent crime. April 2025 has marked another historic milestone. For the second time this year, we have recorded the lowest number of murders in over 2 decades. 44 lives were lost in April compared to 82 in the same month last year. This follows our previous record in February when we reported 48 murders, the lowest figure in over 25 years. These are not just statistics. Each number represents lives saved, communities stabilized, and a signal that the tide is turning. As of April 30th, overall major crimes have declined by 18%. Murders are down by 37%. Shootings have dropped by 30%. Rapes have decreased by an encouraging 47%, and robberies are down by 4%. This progress is not accidental. It is a result of careful planning, tireless execution, and a commitment to excellence by the men and women of the JCF and the JDF. I extend my deepest thanks to you for your professionalism and sacrifice. I also express appreciation to our strategic partners across the security and intelligence landscape. Your contributions are invaluable. Still, we are aware that even as we make gains, there are those who seek to sow seeds of discord and mistrust, who try to paint our officers as anything but the professionals they are. Let me be clear. We are a disciplined, modern law enforcement agency with a constitutional mandate to serve and protect all Jamaicans without fear, favor, or ill will. We stand each day between you, the people we swore to protect, and the ruthless criminals who murder our sons and daughters, terrorize our communities, killing even women and children, and threaten our very way of life. These criminals act with shocking boldness, often recording and sharing their crimes on social media, displaying a chilling disregard for life and law. So should it surprise anyone that these same criminals who murder at will turn their weapons on members of the security forces? Let me reassure you, we are undeterred. We will not retreat. We will not yield. The safety and security of the Jamaican people remain our mission, our duty, and our commitment. Thank you for your continued support. Together, we will build the safe, secure, and just Jamaica that we all deserve.
The Commission has no integrity. The Integrity Commission has no integrity. The Integrity Commission is corrupt. The Integrity Commission is corrupt. The Integrity Commission has no integrity. They are not impartial. And they should be disbanded.
Mr. Prime Minister, you mentioned era to Usain. Is it something thinking about, sir?
Usain is a hero. Nobody has to think about that.
I decided to accept the late invitation to speak and not to stay too long because a long list of persons giving tribute. But Usain is a global icon, a national hero, a national asset.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of The War Room. Here tonight, you have the host, Jamaica Politics Uncovered, Miss Karen Cross, and Jamaica 411. All those videos and images that you saw previously is what happened in Jamaica this week. So we're going to discuss. This is going to be a 2-hour program. Thank you if you are just joining, and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel because this will be a weekly program, Sunday evenings, 8 p.m. Jamaica time for 2 hours with all three of us. So for those of you who don't know us, we are three patriotic Jamaican women who have been on this platform for a little over a year, just bringing you, truth and fearless truth, fierce reporting, and our own analysis. We have done that on our respective platforms, and we have come to know our subscribers and our friends out here, and we've talked about a lot. So I hope that you will enjoy this program tonight. Uh, I'm gonna do a sound check with the other ladies. Ladies, come on in. Let us know you can hear us. The hot topic.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, 411.
Hello,
Yes, hi,
everyone.
everyone.
Karen Cecilia here.
Yes, hi, Miss Karen. So,
And
guys, the hot topic
I'm the
of the
president.
week really is the press freedom and journalism in Jamaica. I think we're gonna start there. You ladies agree?
I would agree, yeah.
Sure, no problem.
Yes. So, if you have been following the news cycle, you would have heard that according to the watchdogs for press freedom, Jamaica fell 2 places. Yes. And I'm gonna let 411 chime in here because she she has done all the research and looked at where we were, years ago compared to now. We're gonna look at all the events that took place between journalists and on the media landscape in Jamaica that would have brought us 2 places in decline. So 411, you wanna go ahead?
Sure, no problem. So you would have heard the to and fro between the representatives, Nikisha Burchell of the People's National Party, she's a media unit person, and she had accusations for the government. And then you would have heard Young Jamaica, I think the youth arm of the JLP, throwing back some accusations at the PNP. And so, of course, you must be dying to know who is right. Well, in some respects, they are both correct. But what I'm going to give you is some background to the argument. I'm not quite sure even they know the background, but we are here to inform. So this, it's called the World Press Freedom Index, and it is a measure or a comparison of countries and how well we are doing with respect to press freedom. It is a group of journalists in France that is monitoring the countries, 180 of us. They're called the Reporters Without Borders. You may have heard of them. So they've been carrying out this survey since, or this ranking, I should say, since 2002. And they were employing a mechanism that they changed in 2021. Not sure if it affects the ranking much, but let me tell you where we were. And I'm sure you're all going to be very proud and pat ourselves on the back. I did glimpse about 2013. We were ranking 8th in the world in terms of press freedom. So number one would be the country with the greatest amount of press freedom in their view. And number 180 will be the country with less or the least amount of press freedom in their countries. So you imagine China and North Korea, and those two, they're at the bottom. And I believe, which country was it now? I think it's Finland, or Finland, I think, is at the top. So Jamaica, around about 2013, ranked 8th in the world, right? So we're doing quite well. Then in 2015, we fell one place to 9th. And then 2016, we were 10th. 27, so that was on the Porsche regime, since we want to be inevitably look at the political side of it. So that was when Porsche and the PNP were in power. Now in 2017, we were ranked at 8th. So we moved up 2 places and ranked 8th in the world. That's what that means. And 2018 was the highest rank we've ever achieved, and we were 6th in the world. There were 5 other countries above us considered to be, in terms of the press freedom, with greater press freedom than us. So they said we are going good. So 2019 we fell and to 8th, and 2020 we went back up again to 6th. And then 2021 we were at 7th, and then the trouble started. In 2022 we fell 5 places to 12th in the world, but in 2023 we had a major fall to 32 in the world. And since then, we've only managed to climb back to 24 in 2024. And this year, we are at 26, so we fell 2 more places. So something has gone wrong since 2022, I would say. And that is something now that we need to discover and correct. Because when people start to bandit about that you have an issue with press freedom, it starts to affect investments, not only internally, but investments coming in as well. So we need to discover tonight what is the cause, and hope that those who are listening in high places, I'm sure they will, when they hear all 3 of us are together, they make amends, so we can go right back to single digit and be in the top 10 as we were on 6 occasions since 2015. So that's the background.
Okay. So Jamaica has always been a country where we promote, free press and things like that. We've never really been in the global media or anything like that when it comes down to freedom of press. But we were in the global media space about free press around 2023 by uh Reporters Without Borders, right? They're the ones who gather this information and put out who is slipping or falling in free press. We made it there in 2023 after Nationwide reported a shooting that took place at their headquarters. You remember that, guys?
Yes, that's right.
Yes. And at that time, they said that they condemned the violence against journalists. And that's when, during the year 2023, actually, there were a few incidents that happened, between politicians and political parties and the press. That particular incident I'm talking about at Nationwide, that was when the General Secretary for the PNP, Dayton Campbell, went on the political platform and pointed out about 5 journalists from Nationwide. Also, we had an incident where reporters went to the PNP headquarters and they were told to leave the property because they were wearing green. One female reporter was threatened with graping, that was reported, among other things. So, as you can see in the news reports there, where the utterances of the PNP General Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell, Observer, reported in 2023 September that he struck a terrible blow against press freedom. The Press Association of Jamaica also commented, saying that they condemned his attack on the journalists, where he named them and pointed them out to the Jamaican people. And also, what I just spoke about with the Reporters Without Borders, the people who, um, you know, watch the communication between politicians and journalists. They reported here that they condemned the violence against the journalists when the shooting took place at Nationwide. So within that time period, we don't live in a time anymore where people are not seeing things. These things are seen beyond our shores. So when we have this happen, those people are watching and they take note. So I don't know about you ladies, but tell the people, are you surprised when you see that we fell 2 places?
Karen?
Me? Good night, everyone. I want to say to everybody on this platform that you're not going to see my face tonight, but you will see me again. I will be visual to you, but not tonight. Thank you all for joining us. I hope that you will stay with us and share this broadcast and invite people to come and listen to what we have to say. This is a new program, and it's intended to not only continue to enlighten you based on what we three do on our separate platform, but to also enhance that enlightenment and to get us all. Yeah, I'm going to use that fancy picture. Come next time on that. So thank you for that, and please let us know what you think and give us topics that we should talk about. Now, press freedom in this country, and I personally believe that the fall in our rating um, was precipitated by after the 2024 local government elections. I think that there has always been an attack from political parties and political individuals on the press. The PNP, the People's National Party, which under Michael Manley was a champion for press freedom, um, has fallen into a pit where they feel that they can attack the press in a willy-nilly kind of way. It started with PJ, quite frankly, but they were more sophisticated with doing it. What has happened now over the last, say, 2 years is that the People's National Party, as it is now, with Dayton Campbell as their major mouthpiece, has seen a rise in hostility toward press freedom. And while the world is watching us and watch us beat up the press and talk things about the press, which happens everywhere around the world, where people attack the press verbally and criticize them most viciously and stuff, what would get the attention of the world, which I think what happened while we went down 2 places, is when the press itself start to complain about what the individuals are doing and what the individuals are saying. And I remember precisely that after the local government elections, and the PNP was out talking about they won 7 councils, as to the fact that they won only, against the fact that they won only 5. And they were pressuring the press, pressuring individual press people to say that they won 7.
Oh, yes, I remember
And
Dion Jackson Miller was the one
yes,
who broke that
yes.
story.
And it was the press themselves who came out and pushed back. And I think that kind of got the attention of the world. You see, the world
Yes.
would pay attention. What the world would pay attention to people being oppressed. Nobody beat oppressed like American people, both on the left and the right. Depends on who their favorite press persons are. They criticize and they go at them hard. The problem may become a problem when the press itself start pushing back at you and call you out and say that you want us to report things that are not true. So when Dean Jackson Miller and the next young Miss Emily Shields, I believe, and they started to push back, I think that was what got the attention of the world by saying, and then the shooting before that, yes, but it was just cliff views, and then that was pushing back and creating a narrative that the People's National Party, particular General Secretary, who is the chief executive officer of the political party, those things would get the attention of the world. And that's my 2 cents about that.
Okay.
Well, if I may make an addition, there's an echo. Um, just so far as the clarity, now they are ranking us year by year. So when we went up to 32, which is the lowest rank ever, that was caused by certain circumstances. But even as we went up, had we returned to where we were in 2019 and 2020, where we were at sixth in the world in 2020, had we returned to that level, then we would have gone right back down to 6, all the way from 32 down to 6. Clearly something is happening. And Karen just reminded us of something that I forgot. So subtle things like that. And Mark Rowling coming out in Connecticut talking about the press is being bought out by the government. And on the political platform, the PNP especially, has been talking about what NNN, what they call them,
Pointing out the
JLP
journalist.
FM.
No, that pointing out the journalist is the
Pointing
most
out the
dangerous
journalists,
part of it.
but even little criticism of the press, by these politicians, they know them too. And so when I'm out there talking about PNP FM and criticizing the Observer on the political platform, right? This is where these bodies will pay attention, and I tell you why. Because when they drop us down 20 points, 20 places in 2023, part of what they said is that Andrew Holness made a criticism. Criticism, do not, what they say. They said he noted that a free press can take any stance they want. That's what they're quoting on. They call that a criticism, right? Then there were 2 incidents of intimidation by private people on press in November of 2022. And then that dropped us down. But why it is that we didn't come back all the way up? Had those things happened, those are one-off things. We didn't go up. Then you have the Dayton Campbell thing in 2023, September, and then constant criticism of the press, especially Nationwide News Network, calling them JLP FM and all something on a political platform. I think that this is the reason why we have not been able to regain the top 10 as we were before. And
May I
then
just
now
say
Karen is
something real
reminding
quick?
us that they're not actually pressured. And
Calling them JLP FM. I think when we're talking about that particular incident, we need to not minimize it by saying or just saying calling them JLP FM, because the most dangerous part of what this guy did was naming and pointing out these individuals. About 5 people he pointed out and named to the country. You can't do that. So let us just make sure we keep
No,
that.
no, no. I agree with you, but I'm pointing out to you that it is a constant thing that you're doing on the political platform. I don't remember what Nationwide was talking about when he came out and decided to call him the incubator for the Jamaica Labour Party, right? And name out the 5 persons. As a matter of fact, I have the clip. I can send it to you. You can play, but I would end up jumping off.
Send it to the producer.
Let me just jump off for a minute and return.
Yes,
I will.
please. Yes. So while she's doing that, Miss Karen, you did something unprecedented this week. I'm surprised that this was not reported by our mainstream media. You and others went to the Integrity Commission's headquarters and protested. You want to tell the people why you did that briefly? We haven't really talked about it.
Well, I am not surprised that the mainstream media would not pick up on that or and carry that in any way. I'm not surprised by that. It's not a big thing for them because remember, news is about sensationalism, and this was not sensationalism. Plus, it would have gotten attention if it was a huge crowd, but I decided a huge crowd would not get the message across, and that was the reason why we did it the way we did. We wanted New Kingston is a busy place at 10:30 in the mornings. I drove down here 2 Thursday mornings just to make sure I have it right in terms of the level of traffic that goes back and forth. People walking on the sidewalk on both sides of the street. So I knew that we would have had a good audience of people strolling through, 5 people, 10 people, 15 people, and they go and then more come and they go and more come. Standing there also without a big crowd gave us the opportunity to say what we needed to say and for people to actually listen to what we had to say, the words that we had to say and the points that we're making. And it gives the Jamaican people who passed by and stopped and asked an opportunity for us to clarify some things for them. Like when we say that the Integrity Commission is in charge of policing our public sector workers or public sector workers, but they themselves do not submit a declaration.
Mm,
Those are important things to make to at least 120 Jamaicans who nobody stopped without videoing and taping. So I suspect it will reach the people that it's supposed to reach, and we have more things planned. And it's not up to Justice Beswick because the thing that we want is two things that the protest was meant to do, to push the IC in doing. One, develop a code of ethics among themselves because of the parliament. It would be it would be somewhat kind of distasteful, for want of a better word, for the parliament to suggest doing that. The same way that the Supreme Court of the United States um, pushed back on the idea of the Congress putting together a code of ethics for how they operate. Because the idea for bodies who are supposed to be like the Supreme Court is the last bastion of legal challenge or legal legality in the United States. The anti-corruption body in Jamaica should be like that. It should
mm-hmm.
be an anti-corruption body. It's the only anti-corruption body we have. What the other ones like Jamaicans for Justice and Trevor Manwood, them they're criminals. Them not really I do not them are money them a look. So but the the official anti-corruption body that was put in place by the parliament should have a code of ethics by that governs them in terms of how they operate, and that code of ethics should include, which is our second point, that they themselves should make available to the public their asset declaration, like everybody else. Because if they're going to hold the parliamentarians and the leaders and the police commission and government bodies heads, and if they're going to hold them to account, they first have to hold themselves to account. And that's basically what the message was, and that's the message we'll be repeating next time we go there again.
Okay, that's good. So, guys, what about the protest that happened up there by the Jamaica for Justice versus the police last week? That was a very big, that took the cake to me, you know.
I agree with that, but I think the Jamaican for Justice people are now suffering from a serious backlash in
You
terms
think
of,
so?
yeah, I think they're suffering from a serious backlash. And I think that there will be questions will be asked of them by the people who fund them about what they do with the money that they get, because there's no other way to read what they did other than to say that they came out to promote criminality and to stand up with criminals against our police. There's no other way to couch that, because that's basically what they did, because them don't have any kind of local operation in communities and schools that they can work through, and in the courts that they can work through, that would prevent them from coming on the streets to stand up for criminals and give criminals basically two ticket so they can continue to do the criminality, because we back on them. It was a disgraceful thing, and I think them reeling from a backlash from it. That's my view.
Well, what about the issues that they raise? Don't they have some legitimate concerns, or should they have dealt with it a different way?
I am just saying that those issues that they raise is that they don't exist, you know. Those issues exist. We do have some rotten police, which are very small group, very minimal, very minimal group of police who will do something sometimes out of the purview of their duties and what the law allows them to do. We do have that, like every other country in the world. We are not special. We have that. What I'm saying is that Jamaicans for Justice, with all the resources that they have at their disposal, could actually make a huge difference in communities and schools and at the courts, that would not that would give them the opportunity to fix problems before they have to come out the road with a bullhorn and them excitement about police shooting people. That's all I'm saying. But they have some points yet, but I'm talking about how they choose to address them. That is my problem, how they choose to address these problems, because as I made a point that they don't have a system where there's a Jamaican for Justice person at the resident magistrate court in 14 parish 2 days a week, and they have the money can do that, to have two Jamaican for Justice lawyers at the resident magistrate courts in each parish. That's 14 parish. We can find 28 people with the amount of money that we get, or let's say one, just to kind of solve some problem before it become a problem. Let's say that they would have something going on in a community, not mine because we're not suffering from those kind of things anymore, but like Mark Golding community, for example, Trenchtown, for example, and other places, where they could say that Jamaica for Justice has an established office down in this community. So when there are problems, young people have a place to go, and there are lawyers and there are advocates, and do the justice before the injustice is done. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying it because they have the resources, can do it. And when they come, when they went out there the other day, one of my other problem with them is that there are some youths that die from police killing, yeah, and there might be
Mm.
some circumstances surrounding it that don't measure up, yes, but then they could have they could have stopped some of those things by being involved in the communities. And who are the people that they were protesting for? We are their
Mm-hmm.
families. What about the children? Any of them that left kids? What about the mothers, the grandmothers? Have they visited those people? Have they gone to those communities? Do they know who these people are in the first place? Which is what they should be doing. Do they know
Mm.
who these people are, and go to their communities and make some representation, go hug up the mother, go make sure the place tidy up, the people them have something to eat, things like that.
Mm.
That's all that they needed to do, but them couldn't bring themselves to do it. Them prefer take the money and go to a road, go make nice, and go out with all kind of excitement, while and nothing is solved. Nothing is
Yes.
solved by what they did. Nothing is solved. They just make nice and give criminals some kind of backative to tell them continue to do what you do. We're with them. While the man them who them supposed to defend probably have children and mothers. The
Mm.
next thing that strikes me, one final thought on this. The next thing that strike me with all of that is that they never even present some mothers and baby mothers and kids who lost their parents or their fathers or stepfathers or uncle or brother or brothers from police killing. Them just out there make nice for no particular reason. And that in
Mm.
itself shows up the inadequacies of what them say them stand for and their existence. So I think it's a political ploy. I think they were politically motivated because it's open season on the politicians because it's an election year and everybody feel like them can go out and do a protest and go on with peer things because everybody want them name to mark on the board so them do something. And that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, whichever side of the debate we are on when it comes on to the police, the uptick in police shootings or killings, however you want to say it, versus um, the crime rate and crime fighting. The truth of the matter is, according to the facts, according to the data, we are seeing a decrease in homicides. We are seeing a national decrease of 35%. Just recently, we heard that in the month of April, we only had 44 homicides compared to, I think, high 50s or high 40s last year. Likewise, the month of February, we had less than last year. Also in St. James, where we couldn't keep count. We're hearing from the police in St. James that homicides are down. So whatever the police them a do, they're being effective. Whatever the government is doing in terms of spending on national security, it is effective. Whatever glitches are there, um, I think that the police commissioner and the security minister and the government, they should have a dialogue with those who are raising these concerns. But the results are there. Um, I don't know if 411 came back with that video. 411, did you find the video that we were talking about? Going back to the topic of,
It's on it's on audio. I sent it to the producer.
Nationwide is an
okay, producer, can you
incubator for
please
the
go ahead and
government.
play that
An
audio of
incubator for the government.
the
Naomi
PMP General
Francis left
Secretary
on press
naming out
secretary.
the
Cecil
journalist
Thoms left on communication director for JUTC.
on the
Abka
political
left on
platform.
senator. Dennis Brooks left on communication director for JCF. It is an incubator for the Jamaica Labour Party. And that's why they like to spin things that we say. And I expect them to
Say that again,
spin things
411.
this evening.
That's the comment that has drawn the ire of the country's Association of Journalists and Media Practitioners. In a two-page missive,
What did
PAJ
you say?
President Milton Walker describes Dr. Campbell's rhetoric as irresponsible and
Okay, we'll
dangerous.
just wait.
The PAJ President says
But
for
in the
decades,
meantime,
journalists from all media
moving on.
organizations have left
Today,
journalism to
Usain Bolt's father was laid to rest.
Hold on, Natalie. Natalie,
Oh, okay.
the recording was playing now. You weren't hearing it.
Oh, I can't hear it. Sorry.
work with
I didn't hear
government,
it.
statutory agencies,
Oh,
and the private
producer, can you play
sector.
it again, please?
The PAJ warned that Dr. Campbell's comments may potentially place nationwide journalists at risk of attack by partisan activists and supporters. It says the comments represent
I
a
can't
grave
hear it, so there
assault
must
on the
be
principles of a
some
free
little
and
difficulties there,
independent
but that's
press,
fine.
which is a fundamental pillar of democracy. The PAJ says as the election campaign nears,
Yeah.
politicians on
So
both
today,
sides
Usain
should
Bolt's
exercise
father was
caution
laid
and
to rest.
responsibility in
Members
their
of government was there, Prime Minister, Culture Minister, Security Minister, all type of minister. I think I saw one member of the opposition there. But why I'm bringing this up, and condolences to the Bolt family. The entire Jamaica is mourning with Usain Bolt and his family. Why I'm bringing this up is because when you look in the comment section of the mainstream media, print media's Facebook, not Facebook, but not just Facebook, but other social media platforms, you see people who support the opposition in the comment section going after the prime minister. Give back Bolt him money, Bolt money, Bolt money. And I'm like, are these people serious? I was shocked. I was like, okay, I understand it's an election season, it's election year, but really, the government and prime minister, they were invited to this funeral, and the prime minister spoke and offered words of encouragement and comfort to Usain Bolt and his family, who were very receptive. It was a very beautiful ceremony. And if anybody's been through grief, any support you get, it means a lot. It helps you to cope during that most difficult time. And that's why I don't like funeral. I don't do funeral because it's too heavy of an emotional thing. But when you see the people them bring politics into it, and they are saying, board money. What do you think about that, ladies?
Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister,
Well, I don't know. I guess some people just don't know when politics should begin and when it should end. So, I didn't actually watch it myself. I was making a video. And
Okay.
condolences to the family as well. But I don't know. I guess the laborites were in the comments and responding to them too, I suppose. So I guess they were going at it. Oh
One of the
boy.
things I see the Jamaica Observer decided to capitalize on. Can you please mute? Thank you. Yeah, the Jamaica Observer. They asked the Prime Minister something about Usain Bolt being an icon or being a national hero, something like that. And this is where you see the quality and the breakdown of some members of the mainstream media. At the man's father's funeral, I don't understand why it would be relevant to be asking the Prime Minister whether he mentioned it or not, and in whatever context, if Usain Bolt is a national hero or something like that, as the Prime Minister was walking out of this church service. Crazy. What do you guys think about the quality or lack thereof of our journalism today? And also, when the Press Association of Jamaica, in response to our decline in press freedom, said, it's because the government need to take a look at the Information Access Act. Is that even a thing? Freedom of Information Act? Is that a problem? Is that what caused the slip?
Well, no. That isn't what causes slip at all. Um, they never mentioned it, and so I doubt it. And I don't think the freedom of information is any different than it was before when we were ranking very high.
Oh,
Also, it's a mechanism by which people get information. I don't know that anything has changed. With respect to the journalist asking Holness about Usain Bolt being a hero, I think it may have been triggered by what Holness himself said when he went to the podium. I heard that clip, and he had in fact referred to Usain Bolt as a national hero, but he paused long before he said anything else. So maybe that was not what he intended to say. He must have meant icon, but he said hero. So if the journalist asked, well, I guess they're within the rights for him
mm,
to explain why he referred to Holness as a hero. So it's for them to sort that out.
Mm-hmm. Well, can you please
The Prime
mute?
Minister careless in how
Not you, Karen, not you.
you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
No?
yeah.
Okay. I'm saying the Prime Minister have to be cautious. It's a political year, and then there are everybody going around saying all kind of things. But him is the one who can't afford to just go around and go say all kind of things. And in a moment of compassion and heartfelt grief for Bolt and his family. I have had those moments where people just say those says all kind of things because it's a moment, and the Prime Minister must understand that him can't afford to do that. He can't afford to make that kind of slip. The word hero should not have left his mouth in anything that he was saying about in giving his tribute to in the memory of Bolt's father. So that the word hero should not have come in, and the Prime Minister people should have prepared him more to make sure him stay away from some things because the risers them still out there about board money and giving that, and then other people pushing for this whole thing, and that moment of grief and heart and crying, and it's a heavy feeling. It's a heady feeling in a church with an icon like Bolt and his father in a coffin, and people want to do the right thing and say the right thing. It's a heavy moment, but the Prime Minister's people failed. They should have prepared. Not him fail, it's in people. It's always the people who fail to give him proper briefing notes and say don't go into the bold thing. Stay with him father, stay with the nation grieving, and we are with the family, and say some nice words to the mother. But it's campaigning time, and the Prime Minister have a mic. Him as a politician, and him have a mic in front of him, and him get to talk off the cuff. In this time going into this year, he must stop talking off the cuff. He must have notes.
Mm,
Everything can be misconstrued or taken out of context if him speak off the cuff. So
mm,
if he invited that misunderstanding on himself, because both will never be hero and can be no hero, and that's the end of that.
mm. Guys in the chat, to make you part of the conversation, I'm gonna be looking for your questions. If you have any questions for us, I'll read through and I'll. Good night, everybody. If you're just joining, please to hit the like button and please help share our content. Let me see if there are any questions. Someone said, Miss Carlene said he went quickly to say Bolt is a national asset. Um, Not that serious. We could take some phone calls up here, via WhatsApp. Producer, I'm gonna give you a phone number for WhatsApp. And if you want to put it on the screen, we can have our friends call and participate because I like the audience to participate. The WhatsApp number 478 772 7976. 478 772 7976. So while we're doing that, what is, guys, we're 3 months away or so from a general election. What is your view on how the landscape is looking so far? Ladies?
Where's Michelle? I don't understand. Where's Jamaica 411?
Did you hear the question,
Did
Miss
you hear the
Karen?
question, Miss Karen?
Go on again. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I'm saying we're
Yeah,
three
I'm
months
saying we're
away
3 months away
from the
from
general
the general
election.
election.
Oh, how does the landscape look to you so far?
We're not three. I don't think we're not three. We need to fix that information. The,
Approximately.
Approximately.
the election is due in December. It's due then. The exact date of the election, September, make it 5 years. The Constitution allows for the Parliament and the Prime Minister to call the election by December. So the election is due by December, and that is what we should say now, and stop put a timeline on something that is only the prerogative of the Prime Minister, acting within that timeline, which means that come September, he could always announce it for October. At the end of September, he can announce it for October or early November, whatever, you know. But we have until December. It's a very hot season. Like, well, it don't heat up yet. That's for certain. It's still warming up. It not quite it not quite reach warm up stage yet. It just getting warm up where the PMP has been out there for 4 years calling for election, saying election is next year. They've been saying that from 2020 or 2021. And them kind of run out of steam now. Look, I don't know, based on what we see on the road, it don't look like them have a revamp or a extra set of shots and extra water to make to go to the last lap.
Mm.
And
Karen,
the
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Let me just
Let
take
me
this
just take
call.
this
Maybe
call. Maybe
this is for
this is
you.
for you.
Hello, good
Hello,
night.
good night.
Good night, good night, Mr. Columbus.
Karen, mute
Karen,
please.
please.
Yeah, man, turn down, man. How is everything? I see
Everything is
everything
good.
pull up. I see you ladies pull up tonight, man. That is good.
Yes, good night.
Yeah, so we're supposed to get in good content again.
Yes, you're live. Do you
Yeah,
have any questions
yeah,
or
I
any
know,
comments? Okay.
I know. I am just listening. Something. You remember that video I was talking to you the other night about Damien and the school thing,
Mm-hmm.
the thing. Is any of the children them? Do you know of any facts of children complaining that they're hungry?
No.
I'm really trying to find out. To me work through some of the school them sometime, but do work for them. And
Okay.
not the lunch that the people and cook a day time. The principal them eat that lunch. The teacher them eat that lunch.
Okay.
And I'm asking the question, what is wrong with the lunch? That this gentleman keeps finding fault, saying like something is wrong with the lunch. And every day I ask the same question, but why this gentleman keep coming out like the children them hungry? Keep talking like the children them hungry, and if a child go to school and them don't have the money, and then go to the staff room nuts, they get lunch, they will get it. They
Okay.
get it. It is something that we know happening. They get it. Right? Then may I listen to the other one, Leighton. So spirit of climb upon him. Every time he go to speak. And the spirit where I trouble with. If you're under 19, you're under the 19. If you're under cult, you're under cult. If you're under evil spirit, you're under evil spirit, and you're a spirit that. Nobody can take away your spirit from you. That's your spirit.
Mm.
Every time you're more to speak, it's just like a pastor. Every time the pastor in get nice spirit, in God climb up, his spirit, the Holy Ghost climb upon him.
Okay.
And these people just keep coming out. Nothing wrong being in opposition or not. Nothing wrong being in opposition. But if you're going to oppose on something, just oppose it on something that it is worthwhile.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not saying I send the picture of them to you, you know.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
man, look at them, man.
All right. Thank you.
Right? So we're gonna
Yes.
stay along with it today because we have other things that deal with, all right?
Yeah, man. Thank you for
Yes.
calling. Big up
Yes.
yourself.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Good night. Hello. Welcome to the war room.
Hello.
Yes, you're live.
Good night, ladies. I am happy to hear all three together. But the
Thank
picture
you.
you put up with Karen, oh, you make her looking muy bonita.
Karen, do you hear? We don't want nobody call over your flirt with Karen, you know, please.
I like how you guys are precise and hit the point when you're doing the program, and when you don't play hypocrite and beat on the books. I love that.
Thank you.
Question, did Karen get a response from the IC chairperson?
I don't know, but she's right here. Karen, did you get a response?
A response on what?
From the
From the
IC
IC
chairperson.
chairperson. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. I've not heard from Justice Beswick as yet. But I don't, particular as an individual, would want to hear from Justice Beswick. Justice Beswick just needs to do what she needs to do, and that is to respond to Minister Bartlett and Senator Johnson Smith. Respond to them in a positive way to say that she's going to comply with the request to do an internal review of how Ronnie Lawrence got the job. And even though Minister Bartlett's letter didn't ask her to look at the matter of setting up a code of ethics for the IC, that as well. But my primary thing is that she must by the request, comply with the request from Minister Bartlett and Minister Johnson Smith, because it's a request from parliamentarians and it's them write the law and they wrote that law and gave it to them and they must comply. The parliament is bigger than them. The parliament is the ultimate power. They are behaving like the parliament works for them and that the parliament is answerable to them. But it's quite the other way around. So Justice Beswick has to be forced, if necessary, to comply with the request from Minister Bartlett. And Minister Bartlett certainly don't need to do anything else. He wrote to her and she come back out with her feistiness, come talk about she want cogent information. She got 15 pages of that. She can go through and pick out any 3 or 4 that she want and go look into it. Because I think it is out of order for the IC to believe. Sorry about that. Out of order for the IC to believe that they have the power.
Do you think the parliament have the guts to ask for forensic audit of the IC?
Hold on, guys. If you're not speaking, please mute so that it doesn't echo. Repeat the question, please. It's for 411.
I was asking J411 if she think the parliament had the guts to ask for what you call a forensic audit of the IC.
Hold on. 411 seem to have fallen off the panel here. But maybe Karen, if you heard the question, you want to answer?
I think our parliamentarians, I'll try for an answer, but I think our parliamentarians have lost, well, I don't even know if they've been going there with bars, but they certainly have lost them if they did. Because them basically afraid of them shadow. They know why them afraid of the IC, because they passed this bad law written by Mark Golding, and they are so afraid to pull it back, to say we're going to reassess it and look at it again. I was reminded that the JLP had raised some serious concern about the law when it was in the parliament, and they never wanted to sign off on it. And as usual, the private sector and some other pseudo influencers in this country pushed them to do so, and they did so without adequately looking at it. And I don't know if they have the courage. I don't know if they have the courage to pull it back. But it's also an election year, so they are cautious as to how it's going to look, and what the private sector and the church and all them other people don't believe that them control something and believe that them have the eyes and the ears of the Jamaican people, and they frighten the parliamentarians and make the parliamentarians and afraid of them shut up, and them don't want to look into these things. So I'm not so sure that them have the balls, but we the citizens have to push them to do so. We have to push them to do so. What the sense of electing people into to the highest decision-making body in the country? The highest decision-making body in the country is our parliament. We elected them. Who are they? They are the lawmakers. Who are the lawmakers? The thieving politicians. But we elect them. And they make the law. And the IC and Justice Beswick, them need to understand that, and everybody just need to to chill and take and just step back and give the parliamentarians a little bit of breathing room.
Karen, you know what one of, can you please mute?
Yeah.
You know what one of my subscribers over here said to me a couple of days ago? He said, can you please ask the audience if they think it would be a better idea to have people on the Integrity Commission who are politicians from both sides. In his words, make thief watch thief. In his words.
Well, the truth of the matter is, look at the ECJ. That is politicians on both sides. I would have no trouble with them, no issue with them. Look at the ECJ. The ECJ is a kind of a statutory body, like the IC. I would have no issue with them because them are politicians in there. What we don't know about the IC is how them operating in there because everything is under secret, and the only person that seems to share information with is Mark Bolin. Jamaica 411 come back. I'd love to hear what you think of all of that.
Can I just take this call real quick? Hello, good night.
Hello, good night, Max. How are you doing?
Good, how are you? Welcome to the war room.
I am great. I am delighted to hear you three together tonight,
Thank
I'm
you.
just calling to just big up you and big up this current class, your chest big, your back broad. Love you.
All
And I
right.
shall my teacher, because that's how I put it, the teacher for Michelle. And I am grateful to hear you guys together, and I'm looking forward for what is happening.
Thank you so much for calling.
The phone was going in and out.
That's
But
okay.
I am just elated to hear you guys. And I'm still asking you, when did the radio station come in?
We're working on it since a radio station, I know why here. All right.
Man, a radio station, I don't think they know because I guess I know. All the other stations, them are foolishness.
Away I say. All right. Make we
We'll me go listen to the content.
all right. Thank you so much for calling.
Bye. Yeah, man.
Ladies, we have to go get to our radio station. Lord have
That sounds
mercy.
like a
411
current
come.
plan. Yeah, one radio
In,
station now.
Karen, your chest big on your back
All right.
broad.
So in terms of the Integrity Commission, I tell you, oh boy. Now, in terms of the Integrity Commission, the ECJ is a commission as well, Electoral Commission of Jamaica. It is made up of 8 commissioners, and I believe 4 of them are supposed to be independent, just independent people. No stipulation that there should be pastors or lawyers or doctors or judges. 4 people. And then you have the 4 politicians, 2 PNP, 2 JLP. And then work, and when I think they were instituted about 2002 or thereabouts. But they replaced the other body that was there. EAC, I think is what it was called. And I think we have one of the, I don't think there's any electoral system better than ours in terms of the checks and balances and where it is coming from, right? We don't have no complaints about them. Any complaint at all is about what the, people might be trying, to cheat the system. But if it's substantial, the cheating, then of course they run over the election. So most people don't want to try that. In terms of the Integrity Commission, there is no transparency at all about it.
Right.
We don't know how the Governor General arrived at these people. We can only assume, because we don't think that the Governor General has a staff to go look up and advertise for people to fill the position of commissioners. So we are left to assume that it is the Service Commission, the Public Service Commission, that is sourcing these people for the commission. Now, I imagine they might be going to the Judicial Service Commission for the judges. but there is no transparency. You cannot be talking about you have an integrity commission that is looking into corruption in the public sector when you have not done any, well, background checks on these people. You know them only from a professional standpoint. You not sleep with them when night come. You never got to sleep with them. You know nothing about them. So therefore, a background check should be done on all of them, no matter whether they're a judge or anybody else. No, no make no sense to do one on the Auditor General because she's a permanent member. Then there also should be, when you shortlisted the people, you should advertise to tell the public, these are the people shortlisted to be commissioners. If you know any reason or if you have any reason why they should not be on the commission, please contact us and make people write in and tell you what they know about them.
Wow.
You can either decide, okay, it is something that is not substantial or it is. But they themselves must have integrity.
True.
And how do you know whether they have integrity or not? They are the first set of persons who should have integrity. Otherwise, the whole system will break down. And then now, once you make sure you have those persons of integrity, they're the ones who are going to select the staff that work within. You follow? So we need checks and balances, and we need it right there at the very top, right, with the commissioners. We need to remove this rubbish that is insisting that 2 judges must be on the commission. I don't know what more integrity that they have than the 4 people who are sitting as independent persons on the ECJ, right? And if you check it out, I don't know why Mark Rowling him set it up this way, right? Whether directly or indirectly, the Prime Minister had something to do with the appointment of all of these persons. For argument's sake, the judges, they sit on the Judicial Committee. They are selected by the Judicial Service Commission. And some number of them are, I think one of them is the head of the union. I need to check that. I'll check that and put that out in a video, right? So and so politics, they're part of the government structure. And they can be influenced who sit on that, on the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal. Then you talk about now another senior person from the government. So it's 2 people now in the structure, and then you have the Auditor General. Only 1 person from the private, outside of government, must sit on the commission. You follow? So I don't know the reason why these persons who are in the public sector should be the ones who are policing this thing. That needs to change, and they must take the Auditor General off and put the Accountant General, if they want somebody there, high up in the government, and let the Auditor General audit them, because right now, who is auditing them? They're spending government money, and the Auditor General is sitting there so she can't audit them. It's a bad law, and it needs to be revisited.
Well, the IC is policing the parliament, and who's policing the IC? That's what it comes down to, right?
Exactly. And
Because I
remember,
don't think
it
the
is the
IC
public
think
sector
they're
that is corrupt.
answerable. The IC doesn't behave
They are not required by law
to be answerable to anybody. That can't be right, man.
They are not required by the law to submit statutory declarations. They are exempt. The judges, they have to submit statutory declarations. And so do everybody in the public sector, except them. We don't know the background checks that were done on
Hold that thought. Let me just take this call real quick. Hello, good night. Hi, welcome to the War Room. You're live.
Yep, and I'm here listening in and just happy to see all three of you ladies team up.
Thank you.
There's a question that I want to ask. You see, could the Prime Minister abandon all mayors in Jamaica? And the reason why I ask it, because mayors are there to sabotage the government,
You think so, sir?
right? Mayors is like they are prime minister in every parish. They have too much powers. You know, I'm just asking the question, if central government, if all the MPs could in charge of all the councillors, I would love to see that happen.
All right.
And then the mayors.
We'll make we discuss it here and see. Thank you for your question.
I'm listening. I want to hear you ladies respond.
Yeah, we're going to. We're going to. Thank you for calling.
Well, I had this brilliant idea, that with respect to the roads, what we ought to do is to change the way how we deal with the roads, because too much politics in it. So I was thinking that what they could do is give the roads to, well, let companies bid on it. For example, you have the 3 counties. So you have 3 companies that's responsible for all of the roads in the counties. They bid on it, and what it is that they can fix the road to a certain level, and the government give them the contract for 20, 30 years. And they are responsible for not only fixing the roads, but maintaining them. Right? Good. Now, I am of the view that all the roads should be transferred to, if not the National Works Agency, to the Commission of Lands, right? Probably, perhaps the National Works, all of it. This idea that you have one set of road for NWA, another set of road for parish council, another set of road for some other set of people. No, there is no standard. And when they're fixing these roads, it's just poorly done. And money is being used and spent, and we're not getting service, except for when we're doing the major arterial road that travels around the island, and the toll road. That is where you see quality roads. So as for the parish councils, I think what he wants to know is that if the mayors and the councils are not doing their work, can the government step in and do the work instead? I don't see no reason. I don't think anybody can tell the Prime Minister, say, if you want to fix that road over there, so that is a parish council road, that they can't do it. So, but the question is, the parish council is collecting money to fix the road, among other things, and then they should. In England, you can carry your parish council to court for not doing the job that them paid to do. We don't have that here. So it's a problem. It's true.
There's so many complaints about some of the mayors in Jamaica. The man just raised a legitimate question. Spanish Town. I cannot tell you the amount of people who call and message JPU about Spanish Town, and they're blaming a lot of the deterioration on the mayor, saying that he doesn't do anything. I don't even know if half the people know the job description of the mayor. What you have to say about that, Karen?
I don't know if there's a set job description for mayors. I think mayors have always behaved like there's no job description in particular, and them go by what the parochial law is, or the rules are, or whatever it is. So I really can't speak to that. I think their actions is based on laws that are already there, and as the mayor, them can operate within that law. They're responsible for the internal roads and the company that have been responsible for some things in the city that they are mayor of. But apart from that, I don't know if they have a set function.
Wow.
Maybe the solution is
Mute
to
Curry.
is that every mayor should be directly. Maybe the solution is that every mayor should be elected directly, and then you won't the people won't have to suffer with Scotty because he can, or the party make the decision, or whoever make the decision that he should be mayor. When make him go run in a race with other people and see if he can get votes, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
government, Mas Andrew, I know you're listening. Please to pass the law in the parliament to make all the mayors, all of them, be directly elected by the people so that the people can get rid of some of these, well, political hacks that needs to be rid of. You know, some
There,
government like to have control of certain things, but let the people decide these matters. And that will solve that problem.
okay. There's a question in the chat that I want to raise with you guys. One of our subscribers over on JPU Lifestyle is asking, do you think or do we think that Matalan openly endorsing Mark Golding has anything to do with or any effects on press index?
That occurred in 2020. And in
Mm-hmm.
2021, they had, let's see, in 2021, they had us at seven, in seven position. So I don't think so.
Well, I differ. I have a
We
different
were seven,
opinion.
we were ranked seven in the world.
I think Matalan endorsing Golding may have influenced the way that the Gleaner reports. Yes, but I don't know if that affected or caused any changes in the press index, but certainly, sorry, the press freedom index, but certainly I do believe that that influenced the way that the Gleaner employees and journalists deliver news to the country. I strongly believe that. In
I
other
agree with
words, the
you. It did.
bias, yeah,
But
created a bias.
yeah, it certainly did in terms of how they are reporting.
Mm.
However, apparently the World Press Freedom Index wants them to have that power to be as biased as they choose to be, all of them. But it's just that they don't want government to be the one to determine the bias, apparently.
Well, let me ask you this. The disinformation that we have seen, I would say probably since between COVID and since, frankly, since Mark Golding became the leader of the opposition and started recruiting all manner of people because certain people would not work with him. Since the increase in disinformation in Jamaica, I don't know if that has anything to do with the whole scuffle with the press and the politicians. We want to think about that because the disinformation is pretty bad.
And then Mark Bolan is complaining that the press won't carry their information. I don't know what them expect the press to carry something and get sued. That's not going to happen. But the freedom of the press is like freedom of speech. They must have the freedom to chat anything or do anything and be as biased as they want to be. That seems to be what they call press freedom. And so even if the press is putting out misinformation or disinformation, they must have the freedom to do so. That's what this
Mm,
body is about. You understand? And it's interesting that you brought that up. But that is what they would call press freedom. The matter of them being putting out disinformation, misinformation is a matter for us, people. And
mm,
whenever we see it and we know the truth, it's our business to ball it out and set
mm,
people to rights. That's the
mm,
only way the freedom will work. You know, we have freedom of speech, while they have freedom of the press, we have freedom of speech.
Okay. All right. Let me take this call real
As
quick,
people.
411. Hello, good night. Welcome to the War Room.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
It is so good to see you three beautiful ladies up there, man.
Thank you.
I tell you from the other night, you know.
Are you the call one married to 411?
Yes, man.
You catch her now. 411. See the man who say one married you.
Another proposal? Oh my, what am I to do?
Tell them when what time they pass through my neck of the woods, they must give me a shout up, man.
All right. You have anything you want to say to it tonight?
Me glad to see
Will
you again,
do.
man. So, yeah, I'm gonna listen to you, you know?
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Hello, good night. Welcome to the War Room. How are you?
How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Can you turn down the
The
background,
chat is
please?
over.
No, we're live, but you have us talking in the background. Can you turn it down?
Hold on, yeah. Yeah, you hear me now?
Yes, welcome. Do you want to say something to us tonight?
Yes, Natalie.
Mm-hmm.
In the 1980s, you see,
Mm-hmm.
when Edward Seaga was in power, remember I dismantled the parish council, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and put all roads under the National Roads Agency.
Mm-hmm.
And it was going on until 89 when PNP came back to power, that they re-entered back the council as them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are saying that council have not nothing to do and things not going their way, so they brought back the parish councils.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, roads which were supposed to be repaired, now they take it to one and say those are parish council roads and certain roads was for the National Roads Agency.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that is cause that was where the problems coming in with this, with the roads.
Oh, thanks for reminding us about that.
Yeah. Okay. Now this place that they call the IC.
Mm-hmm.
When
Turn on your background.
it was Joe Monroe, IC, that that head the Integrity Commission.
Mm-hmm. I think you've turned on yourself. Um, just lost the caller. Sorry about that. I think you just cut off yourself. Hello, welcome to the War Room. Good night. Hello.
Good night.
Good night. Welcome.
Thanks for the program and thanks for the other 2 days joining. It's been fruitful so far.
Good.
Myriad of topics, but let me hone in on the IC that I would like to hear Karen's and 401 take. I do agree that the IC is appointed, an appointment commission is appointed by the Governor General. So who is that person that the Governor General appoints in helping him select who these persons are?
Mm-hmm.
So that's very, I'm curious about that. But
Okay.
also my question to our 2 ladies are that my thought is that if we were to definitely amend the laws within that needs to be changed, and let's appoint all these key persons across the commission, similar to how the U.S. cabinet is appointed, where they all have to be vetted by U.S. senators and a vote is casted. So if we were to have a joint selected committee of both opposition and government members, led by Ed Bartlett or whomever, and all key persons who want to have key positions at the IEC goes before this committee and they're being probed, vetted, asked various questions, then from there we could have diverse elections. I think that would give us a more transparent way in terms of how these persons are selected, and also this would enable us to hold them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also do agree that in having the accountant general on the committee, that's like a conflict of interest. So I do agree with 401 in saying that remove the accountant general incorporate the Auditor General, and then you have the Accountant General who will be then able to audit them.
Oh.
I recall when the former head of the IC went into Parliament, in my opinion, he was very disrespectful. And it came across as if he felt that the commission, was not responsible or didn't have to report to the Parliament.
You mean Mr. Panton?
Correct. That's the name. Yep.
Justice Panton.
Yeah, he spoke as if, okay, we're a law unto ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We don't report to you. There's some water in the Parliament. I refuse on drinking that water because you all are infected. So I found it, even to this day, I found it very disrespectful.
Mm-hmm.
So I think first let's amend the laws, and I hope at some point the government has the balls and the guts to really amend the laws and make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we do the necessary measures. Because I said a committee like this is needed.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the personnel that I believe, even to this day, are questionable.
All right. Well, let the ladies chime in, Nancy, because that's a very interesting perspective you just shared there.
Yeah, thanks. I'll listening.
Yes, man. Thank you.
You're welcome.
411. Who is it that the Governor General communicates with to help select these people?
The only group that could do that is the Public Service Commission that has 4 persons, Hera Blair being one, Eldemaya Shearer and 2 other young ladies, never heard about them before. They're on the they sit on the Public Service Commission. So it must be them that's vetting these people. It could be that he's getting the judges or the opinion of the Judicial Service Commission, which has a Chief Justice, and I do believe maybe the President of the Court of Appeal, and I think somebody from the I think it could be the person who is, there is a public service, like a union. I think they might be one as well, and maybe 2 persons nominated or by the Prime Minister. But he was speaking about the nomination going to the Parliament. Well, as a matter of fact, that was in the original law that Mark Bolin drafted in 2014 when it was first tabled, when it was first put before the Parliament. It had a clause that after the Governor General consults with the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition about the persons he's about to appoint, they then had to go to the Parliament in order for them to vet. And it was in the law, it was in the bill that was put before the Parliament 2014. So the Integrity Commission Act of 2014, that was in it. Then there was another act, the Integrity Commission Act of 2016, that was put before the Parliament by Delroy Chuck as the Justice Minister. And it was in that too. When the act was passed, it was not in it. And I agree that it should not be in it. It's first of all, I mean, once the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition agree, I mean, what are the others going to do? So it would have been an extra layer, and I don't know what it would have accomplished. You understand? So that was there, and the parliamentarians, in the Joint Select Committee, they didn't want that. So they went with the Governor General, finding the people, and consulting the Prime Minister and leader of the opposition. Of course, even though it does not have to pay them in mind when he consults with them, if either one of them should raise an objection, chances are he will not go ahead with that person. You understand? Because you really want the 2 sides to find the individual that you're going to appoint acceptable. You follow? So, so that is that. But in terms of the personnel, how do they go about vetting these people, right? What background checks were done? What fit and proper tests were done on these people? That you don't know, right? And they were never put before the public, and the public were asked to say what they know about these people. So what you're going to appoint them for 7 years, and that's when you find out you have a problem, so that existing. But I do believe the Governor General and the Service Commission, they have the option to determine how they are going to select these people. So they can put it in if they want, right? But because the law doesn't prevent them from doing so. But I think it's the Service Commission that does that, Public Service Commission.
Okay. Well, very interesting. I'm very curious to see where the Integrity Commission goes from here because, in my opinion, they embarrass themselves so far, with all these things that they've been doing and how they've allowed the opposition to campaign on these so-called reports that they're doing, mainly the one that they said that they're doing into the prime minister, as if there's nobody else in the parliament to ride. They have embarrassed themselves. They have made it look as if they are working for Mark Golding with the opposition against the government. I have never seen the Integrity Commission taking such a political stance in the country. And I don't think this is going to be sustainable much longer. No matter who them appoint there needs to be a way that the Jamaican people can be sure that these people who are there are not politically aligned and affiliated with. I mean, it's a mess. Karen, where do you think they go from here?
I believe that everybody in the country is politically aligned one way or another. How they have selected these people is based, have always been based on the name recognition and the face recognition and what these people have done in their lives as private citizens or as government service workers or something. For example, the whole idea of selecting a judge, a retired judge, as the head of the IC, which is a ridiculous idea because judges behave, because there you're opening yourself for the judge to behave like he or she is acting as in them own let them look at power in them court. Remember, the judges in court have the ultimate power, and that's how, for example, Justice Beswick is behaving. The people that they put on the service commission, and the people that they choose for these positions are people who have name recognition in the society. So the Jamaican people sit down and watch TV and say them appoint Ronnie Twaits or Garnet Roper or Justice Panton to something. The Jamaican people can identify with those people because at one point or the other, all of them woke up on Justice Panton in the court. And everybody know that Roddy Twaits and Garnet were put up on the radio, and Antoinette Arton and Miss Gruden. So those are the names they look for. The other names that are not so well known is them from our company, recommended by politicians, recommended by ministers, recommended by the prime minister friend or the governor general. Pick him out of a hat base and somebody saying, Johnny would be a good person on it. Ordinary people have not been given an opportunity to sit on these things and they will perform much better. So that's how they pick these things. They pick these things based on those things, those name recognition. People already who have a higher name recognition in the country where people can identify with them. Back in the day, where you could say Doreen Samuels, or you could say Dennis All, and those people you want to be and things because the country is familiar with them through television or newspaper or some other thing. What has happened now is that those names are now synonymous with either being politically aligned or them a friend and company of somebody, a somebody friend, a somebody wife, somebody husband wife, somebody wife husband, somebody cousin, that kind of thing. And that's how they come with these people. There's no vetting process for these people. Like when a Supreme Court is nominated by the President of the United States, the rigorous vetting process that need them dig up all their yard and find where your first dog in name. And what kind of shoes you did wear the first day you got to the prom. Who was your first girlfriend in a grade 2? Them dig up all kind of things about people. There is no such process here in this country. They just name them friend. Which is why the only way forward, the only way is to rewrite that integrity commission law. It needs a
Wow.
total overhaul where ordinary citizens can also be appointed to it. I made a point on my live when I was going after the IC. I made a point that when the senators and the Congress women and men and some other people start going after Clarence Thomas and start calling for the Supreme Court to write their own code of ethics. I remember that she name again, Elizabeth, woman from down Massachusetts, Elizabeth Warren, and a
Mm.
couple of other left-leaning, left-wing, far-left people were started to write code of ethics for the Supreme Court. And one of these days, that code of ethics in the Congress is going to pass. There's no getting past it now, based on where the Supreme Court is. But what Justice Roberts, the Chief Justice, did was him kind of put that on hold by himself coming out and say they are going to develop a code of ethics on which they will govern themselves. And it started with Ketanji Jackson, Ketanji Brown Jackson, or whatever her name is, saying that she come out publicly and said she support it, and so did Sotomayor. Them said them support it. So therefore, what did Roberts do? Roberts not only sat down with a group of intellectuals, Roberts set up a committee which included teachers, one teacher, one Republican, one independent, one Democrat. There are two young youths are doing law in school from not Harvard nor Yale. I don't remember the last school. I think one is at Brown and one is at some other place doing. I'm just saying that Justice Roberts, as the Chief Justice, recognized what was going to happen and recognized that the Congress is going to and if the Congress put a code of ethics on them, they might find themselves being bogged into some kind of corner because all of them operate and who them helping and part them handing down judgment because it's the Heritage Foundation provide them with a lot of coverage and give them money and to write book and all of that. So those things happen. What Justice Roberts did was got a committee together, which included about 3 black people, one Indian and the man from somebody from one Indian reservation and all them places. And get the committee and bring them into the him name them, him tell you where them come from, but never give them name because him say no give them name. But all of them that the news media contacted say yes, they were part of the process. And them sat down and them write something to police themselves.
Mm.
So that's all. So this IC cannot remain as it is. It's untenable. It's just untenable. Because sort of have to revamp it. Once Greg Christie gone and Kevin Stevenson gone, and they have to revamp it. It's a parliament who has to do it. It's
I
a
agree with
parliament who
that.
has to do it.
We've all lost confidence in the IC at this point.
Absolutely. The whole country know about them now. The whole country know about them because the idea that they are not allowed, that they were not asked to submit their own declarations, mean that they're probably in there receiving bribes. We
Them
don't know if
above the
somebody paid
law.
them. We don't know if somebody paid them to do the things for them to the prime minister. Because that's what I am going to assume now. That somebody paid them to go after the prime minister. That's the only thing I can do unless them can show them declarations where we can see how much house and how much care them have and all them something. Because we don't know what them have and we don't know what they're doing in there.
Serious points, Karen. Make I take this call, Karen. Hello, good night. Welcome to the War Room.
Hello, good night, Miss Nath. How are you doing?
Fine, how are you?
Fine, thank you. And let me say it's a privilege of mine to be a part of history making, where we have 3 not only beautiful ladies joining together, but 3 bright minds that has come together to form a team which I wanted of the Teflon 3.
Thank you. The Teflon 3.
My reason for naming you all the Teflon 3 because you are all of all your experiences where for you were threatened to be sued. Ms. Karen was threatened to that she should shut up. And Miss Michelle, she was also want to keep quiet.
Oh, yes.
And, yes, and I've heard you make announcement of you guys teaming up together to have a program. I also use your three names, which is Karen, Michelle, and Natalie, and to call you um, the CNM of the internet.
Okay.
And I was looking for some adjectives to describe you all. And I must say, I have a difficulty in finding one for this, an adjective that begins with the letter N to describe you. I'm still searching. The nearest thing I come to, and you won't find it in the traditional dictionary, but you'll find it in the urban dictionary, which is nervaceous.
Nervaceous. Oh,
I dub you the nervaceous Natalie, because you are the kind of person who, in a positive way, you have the nerve to take on the tough things, the challenging things, like you speak truth to power. And for Miss Karen, I would dub her the courageous one, because she's not afraid to deal with stuff. I saw her in one of her videos along with her support with Miss Michelle behind the cameras, and that the other lady
Liz.
standing on the step of the IC, the Integrity Commission, and making her views known. And for Auntie Michelle now, she carries a lot of title, but one of the adjectives I'd like you to describe her, the meticulous one.
Okay.
Because when she gets down into the nitty gritty, the detail, and when she's finished, you fully comprehend. What you what especially for the integrity report of the Prime Minister. A
Mm-hmm.
lot more Jamaicans are informed and educated, and make them more wiser as to how to understand the integrity commission. So it's history making for three beautiful ladies, and you continue to do what you got to do is to show that it doesn't take a crowd to make an impact. It just takes a few people who stand up to their conviction
Mm-hmm.
and speak out, and they're making an impact. So I can only wish for you all through the best, and that you will also, by what you're doing, encourage others to make that stand and to see the fruit of their labor. So, in this your inaugural episode, all the best, and to say to the listeners and those who are watching, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and to just keep beating up the subscribe button, beat up on it, and the like button activated to the point where it becomes useless.
Well, thank you for your kind
So,
words.
yeah, man, so keep up your good work
Thank
and
you.
all the best.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Wanna hear, ladies? What a nice thing to say. I appreciate that. The country right now is at a very pivotal point. You have the opposition saying the country has gone backwards, the country is in crisis, and you have the government saying we are going in the right direction. I guess each of us can chime in the last few minutes that we have here. Each of us can chime in and say where we think this country is going. 411, we're going to start with you. 411 or Karen, whichever one of you can get to the microphone.
What was it? What you just said now, Natalie?
The
The
opposition is of,
opposition is
oh,
of,
you have to
oh, you
mute.
have to mute.
Yeah, because I'm getting an echo. The opposition is of the view, and they've been saying that the country is in crisis and the government is corrupt, and the sky is falling down on Jamaica. And you have the government saying we are doing good, we are going forward. Our economy is stable. We have bigger plans, and we've done this and done that. And I'm saying each of us here, including me, will say where I think the country is going. We have a few more minutes of the program left. So come in, Karen, and tell the viewers where you think the country is heading, or what is your view of the status of Jamaica?
Under Andrew Holness, the country is headed in the direction that it should. And we could be better, but right now we are in pretty good shape, and there's no way that Mark Golding could ever do better. If anything, if the Jamaican people should buy into that argument that Mark Golding is selling, we would be going backwards. It would be a backward move, and I can't even begin to form some of the things I want to say regarding that right now. But it would be a backward move, and Jamaican economy is moving right. People are comfortable in their lives. Nobody has to them and suffer. The price of food is going down. Things are more accessible. Mr. Michelle and the Prime Minister having a conversation when she calling Mas Andrew about the road fixing. That would be a great thing. We're doing good. We're doing good. And if we're taking any a cue from the other countries, them like Germany and Canada, who just re-elect them people, then we're in good shape.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
411.
Yeah, the mic is taking a little time to
We can
unmute
we can
itself.
hear you. Yeah.
All right, so the mic took a little while to unmute.
Okay.
All right, so let me tell you now, what the thing that is good about any country's progress, because you have the democratic process, and you're going from one party to the next, and each one of them have their own philosophy and so on, and their own ideas to which direction the country should go and how to accomplish it. But the most important thing is that when one party starts something, one government party forming the government starts something, and it is benefiting the people, the next one must continue it. And that is what happened in terms of what we are seeing happening now. So, well, the Labour Party will tell you that Bruce started and Portia improve on it, and they are saying that Andrew improving on it. Now, that's your argument. Here is my thing. Mark Golding has been talking about we need change. And it doesn't sound to me, and they're talking about the government, the country is going in the wrong direction. So it sounds to me that they have in their minds some idea as to where they think the country should go. I am kind of worried about that, because that sounds like another experiment. We're on a trajectory now, the country is earning, and the money is there. It's a matter of priority. So if you're not satisfied with taking that money and continuing what there is, you come with your programs, make sure you take that program and put it within some ministry that already exists and some program, right? And so I don't think that they have any intention to carry on the policies of the PNP of Portia Simpson and Dr. Peter Phillips, or Andrew and Fable and Andrew and Nigel. They seem as if they want to go somewhere, and that is my problem, right? So I would suggest that if they want to come and take us somewhere else, that we stay where we are. For the PNP people, Sister P and Dr. Phillips put we on this trajectory, Andrew him come and carry us same way, and I think we should continue on this trajectory. If Mark Golding wants to go somewhere else, well, make him go on. But we going to stay on this path, right? And if Holness is going to carry us on the path that Portia started with Dr. Peter Phillips, I prefer them stay. I don't know about this experimental business where them coming with the change that we can't hear about, what it is about. Let them stay with that. So I would say that make Andrew stay there until the PNP find a new leader, and then decide to stay on the same trajectory, and then no one can fight it out in the next general election as to who now has a better policy to carry us further than where we are now, or where we would be at that point. That's my view.
Okay. Well, in my opinion,
I know it sounds like
what did you
it
say?
sounds little jumbled, but I hope. I said
No,
it was
man.
a little jumbled, but I hope it is straight enough for everybody to understand.
No, man, you were clear. You were clear. No, in my opinion, I see the country, if you look at the country where it was in 2016 and even in 2020, compared to now, progress is being made. I mean, if you look at the country and say that there has been no progress, you're very disingenuous. I have read the opinions of people who are outside of Jamaica, you know. For example, just recently, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State of the United States, said in Jamaica, he commented on the crime. That's one of the big things where we struggled for so long and we see improvements being made. The force is more sophisticated, the government is spending more money, you know, they're employing better techniques, policing techniques. We see a lot of the prominent gang leaders, them come out, them not up on the street, them gone to prison, all them something they saw. We see a lot happening there. Infrastructure is another thing, you know, housing. I could go on and on. So this idea where the PNP led by Golden, they're just coming with a bunch of lies that, you know, the country is in crisis and that's not the reality. That's the first thing for me. The next thing is people who are going to come to you to convince you to say that they want you to put them in office. But every day they get up, they tell lies and they are recruiting and employing people to help them spread that lie and disinformation. I would never in this life or any other trust people like those to lead a country. It is reckless. It is dangerous. It can sink your country. It can crash your country. Running a country is serious business. It's not a game, you know, and that's where I stand. So therefore, simply put, Andrew Holness is a more responsible person. And though there's a lot of room for improvement, because we are a developing country, there is room for improvement. But I see him putting people around him what makes sense. He is holding folks accountable. People who the people them say now perform in terms of members of parliament. They are trying to get people in there to perform, to be collecting taxpayers $20 million in salary. These are the things. So we're not perfect, but I trust the man that's there. Anyway, this brings us to the end of the program. I hope you guys enjoyed the War Room. The host here, Jamaica Politics Uncovered, me, Natalie, Karen Cross, and Miss Michelle Stern, aka 411. Guys, make sure that you're sharing this content. Make sure that you hit the like button before you leave. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And we will meet again right here next Sunday at 8 p.m. Jamaica time. Wherever you are watching from, big up yourself and big up all Jamaicans and patriotic Jamaicans who want to see the country stay on a positive trajectory. Thank you again. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.